Conflict is a part of life. It's not about if it happens, but how you handle it when it does. Most people are predictable in these situations. Alpha males will try to dominate, betas will usually back down, and everyone else falls somewhere in between. But sigma males, they're a different story entirely. These men don't follow the usual playbook when it comes to handling conflict. While others might make a scene or retreat immediately, sigma males operate on a completely different wavelength. On the surface, they might seem calm and detached, but underneath that cool exterior, something else is brewing. Don't mistake their composed demeanor for weakness or passivity. These men are quiet but powerful, and when it comes to conflict, they have a few unconventional tricks up their sleeves. What makes them truly dangerous isn't their strength or aggression, it's their unpredictability. You never know exactly how a sigma will handle a situation. They're not bound by social expectations or conventional approaches. They'll use methods that might seem strange or unexpected to others, but are devastatingly effective. This isn't to say they're looking for trouble, quite the opposite. Sigma males prefer to avoid unnecessary conflict. But when pushed into a corner, that's when things get interesting. It's like watching a master martial artist, calm, focused, and precisely lethal in their execution. Here are 6 unusual ways sigma males handle conflict that most people never see coming. Number 1. They turn silence into a weapon. When conflict arises, most people feel the need to speak up, defend themselves, or make their position clear. There's usually a rush to fill the air with explanations, arguments, or angry words. But sigma males take a different approach. They harness the power of silence. It's not about giving someone the silent treatment or being passive-aggressive. Instead, they understand something that most people miss. In tense situations, silence can be more powerful than any words. While others scramble to explain themselves or launch counterattacks, sigma males remain quietly observant. This approach stems from their natural tendency to analyze rather than react. Unlike alpha males who might feel compelled to dominate the conversation, or beta males who often over-explain to avoid conflict, sigma males use silence as a strategic tool. You'll notice this in how they handle confrontations. When someone tries to provoke them or start an argument, they respond with calm, measured silence. No defensive statements, no angry retorts, just a steady, unwavering gaze that makes others surprisingly uncomfortable. This silence serves multiple purposes. It gives them time to assess the situation without committing to a response. It forces others to fill the void, often revealing more than they intended. And most importantly, it keeps them from saying things they might regret later. But here's what makes their silence particularly effective. It's intentional. While others might assume they're caught off guard or don't know how to respond, these men are actually gathering information, observing reactions, and planning their next move. For sigma males, silence isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about controlling it. They understand that in a world where everyone's trying to have the last word, sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. Number 2. They let others self-destruct. Picture a heated argument where one person is getting increasingly worked up while the other remains eerily composed. If you spot someone maintaining their cool while their opponent gradually loses control, chances are you're watching a sigma male at work. It's not about being passive or avoiding confrontation. It's about understanding human nature. When people are angry or emotional, they tend to make mistakes, say things they shouldn't, or reveal their true intentions. While others rush to defend themselves or counterattack, these men simply create space for their opponents to unravel on their own. It's like watching a skilled matador who doesn't need to fight the bull. He just needs to step aside at the right moment. You might see this in workplace conflicts, where a sigma calmly documents everything while an aggressive coworker digs their own grave with inappropriate behavior, or in personal disputes, where they simply allow someone to keep talking until they contradict themselves or expose their lies. The key is their patience. They know that people who are in the wrong often have an overwhelming urge to justify themselves. The more they talk, the more likely they are to slip up or show their true colors. All the Sigma has to do is wait and watch. This strategy is particularly effective because it requires minimal effort while producing maximum results. Instead of engaging in emotional battles or trying to prove their point, they simply create the conditions for truth to emerge naturally. Sigma males focus on working smarter, not harder. In most conflicts, people tend to be their own worst enemies. Sometimes, the best strategy isn't to defeat your opponent, it's to let them defeat themselves. Number 3. They use psychological tactics. The most dangerous moves in a game of chess aren't the obvious ones. They're the subtle plays that your opponent never sees coming. Sigma males understand this principle well, especially when it comes to handling conflict. When tensions rise, these men don't reach for the usual tools in the conflict resolution toolbox. Instead, they employ psychological tactics that work beneath the surface. It's like watching a master illusionist. While everyone's focused on one hand, the real action is happening somewhere else entirely. This approach comes naturally to them because of their observant nature. Years of watching human behavior from the sidelines have given them a unique insight into what makes people tick. They understand that most conflicts aren't really about what's on the surface. They're about deeper, unspoken issues. You might notice them using seemingly innocent questions that make others question their own positions, or they might mirror someone's behavior in a way that forces them to see their own unreasonableness. These tactics aren't about manipulation. They're about creating self-awareness in others. Sometimes they'll use pacing and leading, matching someone's emotional state before gradually guiding them toward a calmer perspective. Other times, they might employ strategic vulnerability, sharing just enough to disarm others without compromising their position. What makes their approach unique is its subtlety. While an alpha might try to dominate through force of personality, a Sigma's psychological tactics work so smoothly that others often don't realize what's happening until the situation has already shifted in a different direction. For Sigma males, these psychological tactics aren't about winning or destroying opponents. They're about resolving conflicts efficiently while maintaining their independence and integrity. It's a chess game where the best move isn't always the most obvious one. Number 4. They walk away strategically. Not every conflict needs to be resolved in the heat of the moment. Sometimes, walking away isn't just an option. It's the most powerful move you can make. This is where Sigma males excel in a way that catches others completely off guard. The key lies in their timing. No dramatic exits, no emotional outbursts, just a calculated departure at the perfect moment. They might be fully engaged in a heated discussion 1 minute, then calmly excuse themselves the next, leaving others to wonder what just happened. Their withdrawal creates a unique kind of tension. When someone expects an argument or confrontation, but receives calm detachment instead, it disrupts their entire strategy. This sudden shift in dynamic often leaves opponents replaying the situation in their minds, questioning their own approach. This isn't about running from problems or avoiding difficult conversations. It's about recognizing when time and space will serve better than immediate action. By stepping away, they gain clarity while others remain caught up in emotional reactions. When they do return to address the issue, it's with a clear head and solid perspective. The most powerful aspect of this approach is its unexpectedness. In a society that often mistakes immediate reaction for strength, a controlled departure stands out. It demonstrates a level of self-awareness that many find unsettling. The ability to choose peace over conflict, strategy over impulse. Their exits serve a clear purpose, whether it's gaining perspective, avoiding unnecessary drama, or choosing a better time and place for resolution. This measured response shows that true control isn't about dominating every situation, but about knowing when to engage and when to step back. Number 5. They remain neutral and impartial. In a heated argument, most take sides, left or right. right or wrong, black or white. But there's a rare approach that few master, staying completely neutral while chaos unfolds around you. This is where Sigma males display one of their most powerful abilities. During conflicts, they maintain a unique position above the fray, observing and processing without getting pulled into either camp. It's not about being indifferent, it's about seeing the complete picture. They'll listen to both sides without showing preference. When others are busy choosing teams or rallying support, these men maintain their independence. This isn't fence-sitting. It's about preserving their ability to see truth from all angles. You might notice them in workplace disputes or friend group drama. While everyone else picks sides and burns bridges, they maintain open channels with all parties. Not because they're playing both sides, but because they value truth over loyalty to any particular camp. Their neutral stance often reveals interesting patterns. They might notice how both sides contribute to the problem, or spot solutions that neither party can see through their anger. This bird's-eye view gives them insights that those in the trenches miss completely. But don't mistake their neutrality for lack of conviction. When they do share observations, they'll point out both rights and wrongs on all sides. Their unbiased perspective often makes both parties stop and think, sometimes even helping rivals see each other's viewpoints for the first time. They're not avoiding responsibility or hiding their true feelings. They just maintain a clear perspective when others lose theirs to emotion and bias. In a world where everyone demands you pick a side, sometimes the bravest choice is refusing to choose at all. Their fairness makes them great mediators and trusted friends. They become the rare individuals who can bring opposing sides together, not by forcing agreement, but by helping each side truly understand the other. While others are busy fighting for dominance, they're busy bridging the gap between them. Number 6. They acknowledge your point and still do their thing. It's one of the most frustrating experiences, arguing with someone who completely agrees with you, yet continues doing exactly what they were going to do anyway. This is where Sigma males can leave others feeling completely helpless. They'll listen carefully, nod in understanding, even point out the merits of your argument. They may say, "I completely understand where you're coming from," and they genuinely mean it. Then comes the part that throws people off. They proceed with their original plan anyway. No argument, no justification, no need to prove they're right. They simply acknowledge your view and continue on their chosen path. They only do this when in conflict with someone who is unreasonable, stubborn, or simply wrong. It doesn't make sense to waste time and energy trying to convince someone who is closed off to reason. So they let them be and continue to do what they believe is best. In some cases, they may even let their opponent think they've won, to avoid further conflict and maintain their own sense of peace.